This is you. There's nothing really special about you, and these are your friends. These friends have something in common. They have guns, and you don't. And that probably makes you feel illiterate. But let me help you with that. Hello there, welcome back to Scrum Mechanic. My name is Dynamation, and today I'll be showing you how to build a tank with a WASD converter and a turret system. This will be a step-by-step process, and I hope that you enjoy this video and probably learn something from it. Please like if you haven't and subscribe if you haven't. Comment below on what you would like to see, and yeah, let's go on with the video. Okay, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to lay out a frame on how big your chassis, on how big you want it to be. I'm just gonna leave mine about here for now. I'll expand it when I need to, and then I'll start off by building my what do you call it? Turret. I'll build as high as I need to. You can also use a piston to go up higher if you need to. But for now, I'm just gonna do this. Now you're gonna want to build something like this so you can aim up and down. This stuff is so you can aim side to side like this. Now you're gonna want to place a bearing, another bearing, and then you're gonna put a elbow. You can use any seat for this, but if you use a even width seat, you're gonna need to have a way how to make it odd width so it can match your chassis. Now that you have your seat, you're gonna want to place down some buttons like that, or however you want. Now you're gonna connect them to your seat, and then you're gonna want to get some electric engines. I'm gonna move these electric engines out of the way, and I'm gonna put them over here for now, and I'll see you when I put these electric engines down. Okay, now that I've put my electric engines down, I'm going to make a number 1 go over here, number 2 go over here, 3 and 4 go to their own engines as well. Now what you're going to want to do is your up and down buttons are going to go to your up and down engines, to your up and down bearings. So engine number 1 is going to go here, engine number 2 is going to go there. Now your left and right, you can tell what button your connection tool is connected to by highlighting the node or connection point that you want to see. So 3 is connected to this engine over here, so I'm gonna put it there, and engine 4 is on this side. Now you have a turret, but now we need to build the rest of the chassis. For this, I'm gonna build out a little bit, and then I'm gonna place some gas engines down for our WASD converter. Now I'm gonna build my WASD converter like this. You don't need to use gas engines, you can also use buttons, but my buttons are already being used for a turret setup. Now I'm gonna grab sensors like this, and then I'm gonna connect these engines like this. I'm only using 2 gas engines for symmetry, and yeah. Now I'm gonna want to grab some logic gates and make them OR gates, and then now you're gonna want to build a and D steering converter, and for that I'm gonna build it somewhere out here. Okay, now that I have that there, now I'm gonna place some more sensors. That's probably too far. Okay. Now you're gonna hook up this bearing to that seat. And then what you're gonna want to do is since these bearings are rotating to the left over here, I'm gonna connect this sensor to these top logic gates to that sensor, and this is the reverse sensor, so I'm gonna put it to these bottom logic gates. And then since this is a left and right, this is right and this is left, I'm gonna connect this sensor to these two logic gates, and you connect the other two to that one. Now what you're gonna want to do is place down even more electric engines. I'm just gonna put them on another area for now. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my electric engines over here. And then I'm gonna connect these logic gates to these electric engines. You can use suspension if you want, but it will be needed if you're gonna be going over terrain. I'm just gonna widen the chassis a bit here so we have some stability, and then I'm gonna build out like this for the suspension. Okay, now that I have T-suspension, you can make 4 more connection points, which I'm going to do, but only 4 corners of these suspension points aren't really needed. But I'm just gonna keep it like this for now. Now what you're gonna want to do is put another one there, another one there, and then you're gonna build out a little bit more like this. You can do this in one go, but it's nice to know what you're seeing. And then you're gonna want to have some sort of connection points. This kind of suspension is very simple. You don't really need a complicated suspension for this kind of stuff, because there's already a lot of bearings connected to this already, so there's really no need. I'm gonna put some pipe pieces on these bearings, and then even more bearings. And then now what you're gonna want to do is get a wheel, preferably a large wheel. You might want to connect these engines to the seat. Okay. Now what you're gonna want to do is connect the electric engines to their bearings like this. And then now you're gonna want to build some sort of tank steering setup like this. Raise their power by 5. And you're gonna raise the suspension a bit. Oh, the sensors aren't getting triggered. Okay, there you go. There you go. Now you have a fully working tank steering setup. I'm just gonna widen this arm a little bit. I probably shouldn't put those sensors that far apart, but it doesn't really matter anymore. Now we can drive like a normal tank. You can add more wheels if you need, but it's not really needed for where I am right now. So now what you're gonna want to do is build some sort of cannon setup. So I'm just gonna get some pipe pieces like this. And then I'm gonna put some spud guns on here. To counter this weight, I'm just gonna put a slab of concrete in the back like this. I'm gonna aim up a little bit, and then now you're gonna want to have some sort of bearing or piston to put the ammunition on. So now what I'm just going to do now is I'm gonna clear out unnecessary parts that I'm not using anymore from my inventory. Oh, that's Alt Tab. Hold on. Okay. Now what you're gonna want to do is get either a bearing or a piston. Any block of your choice. I'm gonna use some wood here. And then if you're gonna use a bearing, you want to have at least 2, but you can also work with 1, but you're also gonna need a controller. I'm not gonna use a bearing. Instead I'm gonna use a piston. Now that I have that, I'm gonna place a pipe on this cannon. It's advised to have some space between this and that, so it doesn't lag your game out. Now you can place your cardboard on your piston. You also should get a button to fire these. Just gonna put it right there. There you go. And then now you're gonna get an explosive and put it there. You can use any explosive, but this explosive is a little bit big for this. So I'm just gonna use a small canister. There you go. Since this is 9 spike guns, it's not really gonna go that far, but here we go. That's fairly decent. But if you add more mounted spud guns to your tank, it's gonna go much farther. Like this one has 40 spud guns, and that's a large canister. This one has 25 spud guns, and it has a lot of magazines on it. And you can just remove this over here, and you can also do that to reload. These things are very versatile, and when you need them to be, is all on how you design it. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.